One of the components of the hammock is the ridgeline. I can't show you the entire hammock and everything sitting here on the table, but this is a ridgeline. It's a whoopee sling uh, made out of, can make them out of different things, but 7/64 am steel has a breaking strength of about 1,600 pounds. And what the ridgeline does is it's attached to the continuous loop on this end, it runs across the hammock to the other end, and it's attached there. And that creates what's called the sag in the hammock, which helps you to lay diagonally. Without the ridge line in place, when you pull the tree straps tight, you kind of straighten out your hammock, and then you're stuck laying really straight and with your sides scrunched in. This having a ridge line on there, you can pull the ends tight, but it won't reduce the sag on it any. So there's three different types of ridge lines we do. One is a fixed, one is a whoopee sling adjustable ridge line, and one is a UCR adjustable ridge line. And I will be making a video on each of those three types of ridge lines. So this is a whoopee sling. It could be used for your suspension, going from your hammock to your tree, or it can be used as a ridge line, going from one end of the hammock to the other end. And typically the ridge line is set at 110 inches. The way they come out with that number is for our hammocks, they're 11 foot long. The ridge line is supposed to be 83% of the length of your hammock, so that would make it 109.56 inches, so it's rounded up to 110. A lot of people like just leaving it with like a fixed ridge line at 110 inches, but some people like to have it a little smaller, a little bit longer, and so an adjustable ridge line like this works better for them. And the way this works is it has what's called this is the berry. It's like the old Chinese finger cuffs. You stick your fingers in each end, and when you go to pull apart, it just tightens up, and you can't get your finger out until you push it together and loosen them up. This berry works the same way. And what it does is this rope goes inside of here and then comes out the other side. And that makes this thing adjustable. Right now it's about 22 inches from this end to here when it's pulled tight. It's about 22 inches, but it will adjust out with all the extra length of this to about 6 foot. And the way it works is if you want to adjust it to make it smaller or bigger, you lift this up, get some slack on it, and then this will slide. And you can see the loop getting down there is getting smaller. And then you can slide it the other way, and this loop will get bigger. You get it to where you want, and you do what's called milking the berry. Right now, if I pull on it, it will slide one way or the other and loosen up. But when you milk the berry, you take one end of it and squeeze your fingers, and then work it down like this, and it's just like putting tension on the Chinese finger cuffs. And then now, when you pull on it, you can pull on it all you want; it won't move from either rope. It's stuck there in place. So the way you adjust it to the way you want it, whether you're using it for the ridge line or for the suspension going to the tree, you just pull this down, get some slack on it, loosen it to get it bigger, or you tighten it to make it smaller, however you want to do it. And then once you get it set right, you just milk the berry, and then it's locked in place. One of the features of this, it has a what's called a tail. This end here, the end of the rope is woven back inside of itself to make it thicker. So as you're adjusting, and this rope's going inside of here, as you're adjusting it, when it gets to the end of it, it won't go back inside, so you don't lose the rope and make it useless. And what's done on the other side is there's a little bead on there, and the purpose of that bead is as you're tightening it, if you're not paying attention, it can get small enough that it draws it back down inside of itself, and then your rope's going to be pretty much useless. But this bead will stop it from going down all the way down when it hits that. and that's the purpose of the bead on there. And these beads come in, we have different choices. We've got several different color choices: green, orange, red, blue, black, yellow, and purple. So that's one of the options. You can pick the color of the whoopee sling, and it's got 5 different color choices, and you can pick the color of the bead that goes on it too. We try to make everything we can as customizable so you can make the hammock truly your own. This is another type of ridgeline we have. It's a fixed ridgeline. All it is it's got a loop on each end. It's woven back inside of itself with a Brahma lock, so it can't come undone. And the fixed ridge lines on our hammocks are typically 110 inches. Where that comes from is most of our hammocks are 11 foot long. A ridge line is supposed to be 83% of the length of the hammock. So that comes out to 109.56 inches, so it's rounded up to 110. And this one in particular, the hammock's going to be a little bit longer, so it was made at 115 inches. But it just connects at each end of the hammock to the continuous loops, and it's a solid line. It cannot be adjusted. A lot of people prefer the fixed ridge lines. I tend to like the adjustable ones because I normally have my hammock set at about 108 or 109 inches. 1 or 2 inches can make a pretty big difference, but for the people that prefer the fixed ridge lines, that is also an option. This one in particular is made out of 7/64 inch am steel, so it has a 1,600 pound breaking strength on it. So this is the third type of ridgeline that we use. It's called a UCR. It's adjustable ridgeline, and it works just like the whoopee slings in the way that it has the berry. And this rope adjusts the length. We normally set them at 110 inches, but if you need to make it shorter or bigger, you can take it out to I think this one in particular will go up to about 115 inches, and it'll go all the way down to 20 something inches long for this one in particular. And works the same way. You got the berry right now. If you pull this end, attaches to one end of the hammock, and this end attaches to the other. And if you pull on this, right now it's locked in place. I'm pulling on the gray rope and the black rope. It won't go anywhere. To get it to adjust, you just lift this up, get some slack in it. It works just like a Chinese finger cuff. As long as there's tension on it, you can't move the rope. But if you lift this up and get some slack in it, it will slide, and you can adjust it bigger or shorter. And then same thing from here, you can adjust it and make it slide in and out to get it to adjust it. Once you get it to the right length, you do what's called milking a berry. You squeeze both fingers and run it down the length of this berry, and then now it's locked in place again and won't move. No matter how hard you pull on that will not come out. They're done a couple of ways. Like I said, this end attaches to the ridgeline and this end attaches. This third loop could be done a couple of ways. Some people like to just have it like this as kind of a handle to be able to adjust it. And other people can't do it because this rope's already braided, but other people will want a prusik nut on here, and it kind of locks it in place. It's not necessary, but it's an option that can be done. And this attaches, like all the other ridge lines, it attaches to the continuous loop on the end of the hammock. Right now I've got a whoopee sling ridge line on here that's attached. And this ridge line, whether it's the whoopee sling or the fixed ridge line or the UCR, it attaches to the continuous loop on each end, and it hangs across your hammock, creating a big mess of rope right now. hangs across your hammock from one end to the other. I can only show you a little piece of the hammock in this tight shot, but hangs across from one end to the other, making the sag in your hammock so you can lay diagonally and be comfortable. Okay, so this is the ridgeline hanging up. Uh, this is a whoopee sling ridgeline. It's got the bead on there, and this is the tail end. It connects to the continuous loop on this end of the hammock and runs down to the continuous loop on the other end. And this is what I meant by the sag in the hammock. And the way the ridgeline is the way the ridgeline is in place, it keeps that sag in there. You set it the way you want it, and then the sag will be the same anytime you set it up. If you did not have the ridgeline, and once you start tightening up the tree straps, it's going to draw this hammock up tight, and you won't be able to lay in it diagonally. You can, but you're going to have a lot of pressure on your shoulder and on your feet if you lay in it without the ridgeline diagonally. And what I mean by laying in it diagonally, I'll put a picture in the video describing what I'm talking about. So that picture describing laying diagonally was taken from a book called The Ultimate Hang by Derek Hansen. It's a really good book if you want to learn a lot about hammocks and everything. He's got a second edition out now, so if you want to take a look at that. But ridgelines could be done, like I said, this is a whoopee sling ridgeline. You could use, and it's adjustable, you could use a UCR, which is adjustable, or a fixed ridgeline. And so I just want to make a short video kind of describing what I'm talking about in the sag. The video I did on the cutting table it's hard to really show it without the hammock being stretched out. Oh, and a little side note, don't hang from a hammock like this. I just got it hanging from clothes hangers, so yeah, not a good idea to lay in it.